Hello everyone, today I'm bringing you a review on the Marvel Select Ultimate Thor. Now Ultimate Thor comes from the Ultimate Universe, where he is a part of the Ultimates. That universe's Avengers. My first introduction to him, like a lot of people, was in the animated movie Ultimate Avengers, which was based off the Ultimate Universe. My first reading to the guy was in the Secret Wars tie-in Thor's, where he was basically a police officer for Doctor Doom, who was God at that point. I'm not too familiar with this version of Thor compared to the main universe version of Thor, who is my favorite hero, but at face value, this version always caught my eye design-wise. So when I found him for $30 at a convention, I picked him up and asked no questions. But how does this figure hold up? Well, he looks great. Head to toe, this figure looks amazing. His veins surge with electrical power, and his face with that nasty snarl just adds to the appearance of power that you would expect from any Thor. And his chest looks like it's overflowing with energy, because it is. In the comics, it is the source of his super strength, and his hammer is where he gets control of his lightning, and it's the battery to his chest piece. Without it, he would be less than unworthy. He would be human, and that's really sad. Speaking of which, the hammer looks amazing. Silver head, scruffed up by all the times it was used in combat, plus this wooden look to the handle with two golden ends, plus the iconic strap found in any of Asgard's famed weapons of thunder. It is a shame, though, this isn't as comic accurate as I would have expected. In the comics, it's mostly all silver and mechanical looking, because it was mechanical. It was made by humans to power Thor's mechanical chest and power his strength. And it was more technology than magic. But this being the only version of the Ultimate Hammer we have in action figure form, I'll live with it. But like the wielder, it looks great, but is very flawed. It has a tendency to bend, like mine is doing now. Out of the box, it was much worse than this, but there is a solution. Just heat up the ends, get some maybe hot water, put it in there for 30 seconds, keep it straight until it dries off, and you'll have a straight hammer in no time. It's not a big complaint in the end, because it still looks as great as it does, and I can't fault it for being the first only version of the Ultimate Hammer. I will say this is the best piece in the entire set, next to the set piece of Grant Gustin's Flash, of Ultimate Giant Man after the fight with the Ultimate Hulk. This piece looks great. The detail, painting, the shading on the rubble, the actual pain you can see in his face after getting told by the Hulk that he's going to turn your mouth into a toilet is all captured so well in this one piece. It even has a hole in the back where you could put a nail in right here. And if you want to, for some reason, put this on your wall, which why would you? That's weird. But overall, this is probably the second best thing in this entire figure set, which only leaves the figure itself. I wish I could say it's good for being the only figure of Ultimate Thor that we have at the time, but it just doesn't do it for me, and that's sad to say. For posability, he's pretty simple. Head can move on a 360, can look up that far, look down that far, basically nothing. Arms can move out. They have a swivel at the shoulder and at the upper arm, joint on the elbow, swivel on the hands, swivel on the hips, and the legs suck. If this was my first Marvel Select figure, I would be very upset and very disappointed with Marvel Select. I'm guessing this was made during a different time, because I have gotten other Marvel Selects and they have had better. But for these, they can move out this far, have a joint at the knee and at the leg, and that's it. No swivel to speak of, and no spread at all. So it makes the legs very, very annoying, and makes everything very limiting, which stinks. What also makes this very limiting is my figure has a hard time holding the hammer. His right hand droops sometimes when a little bit of pressure is put onto it, and even then the grip on the hammer, it's barely there. So that kind of stinks. But maybe his left hand might have easier time holding it. Maybe, right? He definitely holds it tighter, but the upper arm is very loose on my figure, so he can't hold it up because it goes down. That isn't so mighty now, is it? But in the end, I don't think that matters because he can two-hand it. And when you're holding a hammer as big and glorious as this one, isn't that really all that matters? Boom. And the bust of Giant Man can be used as a base for the Thor, but you really can't count it as a base because there's no actual way to connect the feet onto the Giant Man securely. This is all just balance, and there's no real actual way to balance it. But I wouldn't really fault that as a figure problem because the Giant Man is really just used as display. If you have maybe an Ultimate Hulk, you can recreate the comic scene where both of them fight it off. So I don't really think of that as a problem, but it is there if you want to know about that. I don't think it's a big issue. I'm not even going to use the base as often. Maybe just put it on my wall, even though I just made fun of people who would do that. I guess I'm weird. In the end, the best poses I can get him in are the ones where he looks like he's very angry at me for calling him a below average figure. But that's me being very generous with him because I really wish I could love this figure more. I can't recommend this figure, but I also could because it's the only Ultimate Thor figure we have as of this time. And I would say buy it if you find it for $30 like I did because it looks great. Everything that it comes with looks great. The hammer, the Giant Man, but it just doesn't feel great. And that stinks because I'm a huge fan of Thor and I wanted to put them next to other figures of Thor that I have. But I just can't put it in me to do that because it just doesn't feel great. The upper body maybe, and he can hold his hammer like I would expect him to hold his hammer, but just the legs make it really hard to do anything amazing and special with him like you should be able to. I want him to be leaping in the air with his hammer like about to bash Ultimate Hulk's head in, but I can't. And that stinks. So I say if you find it for cheap, $30 complete, I say buy it. I wouldn't say buy it for the $60 it's worth now on eBay. But if you're a die-hard Thor fan and really want maybe that Giant Man display, then I say if you're willing and you know what you're getting into, go ahead. I won't fault you because there is stuff to love in this figure. I just wish it could be better. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I'll see you guys next time.